Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Harare Sports Club to the third T20 between Zimbabwe 11 and South Africa A. South Africa A obviously winning the first two, and this becomes a must-win game for Zimbabwe if they want to keep their hopes of getting something out of this series alive. With me, as always, in the comment box is Darlington Matabanaza. Darlington, beautiful day.
Yeah, it is a wonderful day for cricket today. Sun's out, a little cloudy, but really good day for cricket. And for me, I think the other thing that I saw is that there's been a shift in momentum. We saw South Africa win the very first T20 quite easily, and then they really had to work and put on a really good performance to win. Simply because I think that Zimbabweans brought a much better game, played a much better cricket as a unit. There were some individuals who struggled, but I think as a team they played much better in the second T20 than they did in the first. And I'm, as for Zimbabwean fans, I think hopeful that this is going to be a slightly better performance as we've seen them improving throughout the series.
So, not any notable changes to the Zimbabwe 11 side. Regis Chakava joins, and Tafadzwa Tsiga also joins the squad. And as far as the SAA squad is concerned, Darlington?
We've just had, Tristan Stubbs has been admitted for this game. He's gone off to join the IPL. Which team? I can't remember which team that is. He's gone off to join.
Mumbai Indians. So pretty much it's going to be Ngwepe, Hendricks, Rickleton, Klaasen, Zondo, Jason Smith at 6, Bjorn Fortuin 7, Clinton Sturman, Junior Dalla comes in for Gerard Coetzee,
and then Lizard Williams.
Yeah, very like for like change that one for South Africa A. Pace for pace. Obviously, Dalla will come with a little bit more wheels than Gerard Coetzee. Do not have the same sort of bounce and probably effect as Coetzee has had so far in this one-day international and T20 series that we are busy with. Tendai Chatara, a very steady start, 3 dot balls to Lesiba Ngwepe, who was in blistering form in the second T20, scoring 100.
So we've seen him already get one past the outside edge of Lesiba Ngwepe's bat, which is a really good sign. And on the subject of Junior Dalla, for me, he's a little bit skiddy, shorter than Gerard Coetzee, who he replaces. And on really good wickets, I think skiddy bowlers can be quite difficult to get away, particularly to get underneath. And I think that might be an interesting surprise for the Zimbabwean batsman today.
Absolutely, and also the fact that he has a slightly different action. And that is a beautiful cover drive. Lesiba Ngwepe continuing where he stopped in the previous T20 International. What a shot, Darlington, to get us going here.
It's beautiful, and I think the beautiful thing about it is he's not trying to hit it very hard. He's just kept a really lovely shape and caressed that just in front of point for to the boundary.
Yeah, and what Chatara had done in the first 4 deliveries per se was to just starve Lesiba of any sort of width, and that one there just allowing Lesiba Ngwepe to open up his hands, and when he does that, he's unstoppable.
Also, I was really excited to see Masuku get a run. It was expensive in the first one, went for 65 in his 4, but I am of the opinion, and that's quite a good bouncer from Tendai Chatara. Called buys, and that's 8 off the over. South Africa A are 8 for none.
Tendai Chivanga from the golf course end. Reza Hendricks will have a first look and straight away gets off the mark. Very strategic delivery into the body. And there is protection for that. Wellington Masakaza in the dip. This is slightly different ideas against Reza Hendricks here. Obviously, we saw how brutal he was to anything that was side off stump with a couple of very beautiful shots over extra cover for sixes.
And then he was also very strong when you got two straight. Really good at manipulating the ball behind and in front of square on the leg side, depending on where that fielder on the boundary was. Really good display about what hitting in T20 cricket was. We were shown by these two batters. And for me, it was the fact that they played really high quality cricket shots. They didn't try and smash balls or slog balls. It was really good cricket shots.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of a starter here for Tendai Chivanga, who has gifted South Africa with a free hit very early on. What free hits usually do is they get the batter's adrenaline going, and once they get that away, it's sort of very difficult to try and contain.
And then the other thing about it, it's still quite early in the over. It's just the third ball that he's bowled a no ball on. And so what that does, often, it sets you up to get smashed for a big over. So he's got to make sure he gets this one right. And he's done well as Tanaka Chiwanga. Keep that down to just the one for the illegal delivery.
Very nicely deceived. Disguised slower ball there. And beat Reza Hendricks for pace.
The way he shaped up to play that Reza Hendricks for me was looking to get it over and behind Tendai Chatara, was a short fine leg, and that lack of pace didn't allow him to get that ball into there. And that's a really good delivery. You see a little bit of movement, sharp movement into the batter for Tanaka Chiwanga.
So, must-win game, Darlington. In the Zimbabwean changing room, obviously, they went down fighting in the second T20. The first one was a little bit academic, really, for South Africa, because they only had to get 115. They did so with 5 overs to spare, but this one is the big one for Zimbabwe. And that is a beautiful shot. Wonderful shot from Lesiba Ngohepa, who just presented the full face of that bat and did the rest of it. Beautiful shot, Darlington. Proper start from Lesiba here.
Really, really nice cricketer. And again, there's a simplicity about the way Ngohepa plays and plans his game that I really, really am fond of. He just keeps it really simple and basically technically very correct cricket. He does expand. We will expand. Expect him to expand as the game progresses. It's another beautiful shot. He's got it over backward square leg all the way for 6. This is that issue we were talking about, that no ball, how an over can become very expensive. That's 13 off that second over, and South Africa are 21 for none.
groundsman in, just trying to help out Tendai Chivanga with that surface where his front foot lands, feeling a little bit uncomfortable with that landing. Probably the reason why there was that erratic delivery that went for 6. But Lesiba wouldn't mind. With such a field getting a short delivery, it's almost like a free hit, Darlington.
And especially to a man in the kind of form that Lesiba Ngwebe is in, you've just got to really be careful not to try too much when you're bowling at this class of batter, when they're in this sort of form. And I think simpler plans generally are going to work quite well against most batters. Let's just see more in that sort of area. I think that's a really good one to finish off the second. And South Africa 22 for none.
A nice sort of line from Chatara here. He was very good 5 out of 6 balls in the first over. It was very unfortunate to concede those byes, but only delivery that I could have complained about was that wide half volley which was put away by Lesiba. I like the look of these two batters, and obviously Riza Hendricks realizing how Lesiba has gone on like a house on fire here, just allowing himself to take the back seat.
You see, that sounds that the reaction of Tendai Chivanga suggested that found the outside edge. Didn't carry to reach Tumbami behind the stumps. When you start to see balls not carrying this early in a game, it's really worrisome when you have to chase on a wicket.
And again, hey, Darlington Lesiba literally middled everything that he has tried to go after. This is a really good sign for a batter who's coming off 100. Really, is continuing. But I get what you're saying. This wicket has been up and down. We saw that short delivery from Chatara that flew through and went past Tumbami. And that one, which was almost on a length, seemed to creep through, and that is a beautiful shot up and over. One bounce into the board. That is a beautiful cricket shot from Lesiba Ngwebe, and again a little bit of width, Darlington.
But he's had to put it away still, and he's played a really good shot. And again, for me, it's the fact that he's not trying to hit it too hard. The African A side get around 11 and a half runs and over for 20 overs in the second T20. They're up over 10 now. That is a good comeback delivery from Tendai Chhatara. What's interesting for me is that he's gotten past the outside edge twice already in this over. So there is just a little assistance if you're willing to really work at it. And this is
top edge, chance here for Chivanga, taken. A big breakthrough here for Zimbabwe. Tendai Chhatara with a short delivery, and Lesiba can only manage to just lob it to Chivanga at short fine leg. The breakthrough for Zimbabwe after 3 overs, South Africa A 27 for 1. New man in for South Africa A, Ryan Rickerton. Good innings when he played the 1 days, and he gets off the mark straight away against the golf course end, Wesley Madebere.
Wesley Madebere is such an important player for the Zimbabwe 11 in this format, and he hasn't quite got his game together. Hasn't really batted to what do we consider expectation, what's expected of him, and hasn't really bowled that way either. And there immediately the breakthrough, he's gotten through Reza Hendricks, and then South Africa now in some trouble at 28 for 2.
Henry Klassen, the captain, walks in. South Africa in a little bit of a pickle here. Wesley Madebere dismissing the prolific Reza Hendricks. Started very well here. Wesley Madebere found the right amount of pace to bowl. What's been very important is he's bowled the balls mostly into the wicket.
We're watching a different game here because I think he's bowling a little bit slower than he's bowled before in these T20 matches. I think that's the difference, and he's just going to get a little bit of purchase. That one was quicker, but I think he's mixing up his pace more today, and he's got a little bit more control than I think he's shown through this series. And that is a very good shot from Ryan Rickleton. That's the problem with slowing it up a little bit. You allow the batter to dance down the wicket to you. So at the end of the fourth, South Africa are out 33 for 2.
Just the two from Tendai Chatara from the city end today, and we'll see the introduction of Ernest Masuku. You're speaking about, obviously, speaking about how much an enthusiastic cricketer Ernest Masuku is, and you're quite pleased that he's getting a lot of matches here at Darlington.
Of course, I mean, most cricketers who start out, when they start out at our level to what they've been playing at, the majority of them don't actually succeed the first time out. But the fact that he doesn't succeed doesn't mean he's a bad cricketer. I think he's a very good cricketer, and I think he's got great attitude. For me, a sign of how good his attitude was is his the aggressiveness with which he's batted. He's not backed down from the South African A fast bowlers, and he's actually really said to himself, like, put his hand up, saying, "Listen, I'm going to try and get as many runs and as quickly as I can, given my ability here." And that's usually a good sign. It's a sign of really, really good attitude.
I really like the look of Ryan Rickleton here. Very simple. But, the way he's able to put balls away is quite prolific, Darlington.
Absolutely right. We were talking about simplicity as a good path for seam bowlers. I think simplicity also works for batters. It's really good work from Wellington Masakadza, but he still can't cut off the two. And it's created by just communication. Henrik Klaasen was saying two the moment he started running down towards the striker's end. That's a really nice looking shot. It's on the up.
Oh, I really like the way that he has started today. Is Ernest Masuku. Obviously, you will learn, like you were saying, he will learn to deal with the pressures of this level. But the way that he has started, you wouldn't think he's playing only his third T20 on an international stage.
And the other thing about it is today, we've seen him already mixing up his pace. We've seen that was a little slower one to finish off the over, and hence he's only gone for 3, and South Africa are 36 for 2. As we go into the 6th over, joining me in the commentary box is Larry Kurirai. Really decent start for the Zimbabweans today.
Yeah, much better. Good afternoon, Darlington, first of all. A much better start than the one they had in the second match, certainly that one. 2 wickets to 4, big wicket of Zimbabwe, but still a lot of batting for South Africa coming, so still a lot of work to do.
I think what I've liked today is that their control of line and length has been a lot better as a unit. Ernest Masuku's first over just went for 3. It's hard to believe that he went for 65 in the last game he played. And also we're seeing Tanaka Chivanga starting to show signs of being able to consistently hit a length.
Certainly struggled quite a bit in his first over. We bowled that a no ball and got hit for a 6 and a 4 off the willer of Zimbabwe, but got taken out for a bit, and Wesley Madevere taking that important wicket of Rize Hendricks, who we know can bat more than just a bit. Still.
And he's really good at, I think, keeping a nice run rate and holding an innings and batting for most of those 20 overs when he opens. We saw, I think, Lesiba Ngwepe is more the enforcer of that pair. He's the one who's, I think, instructed to really try and take the attack to the Zimbabwean bowling.
Absolutely. But the 2 batters out there, Hendrik Klaasen and Ryan Rickleton, are very, very talented batters. Very capable of putting a big score here. Certainly, at some point the run rate was 10s, now down to 6.71, and that's what wickets do, because you just have to watch the ball a lot more so you can get yourself in.
That again is a nice change of pace from Tanaka Chivanga. Saw one get through. Heinrich Klaasen, it's a little bit quicker through the air, and then immediately after that he's taken the pace right off. And I think the thing that South Africans did, in particular in the second T20, when Sikandar Raza was looking to take the game away from them, you saw the South African seamers bowl a lot slower at Sikandar Raza than they had done in the first half of that T20.
It's a bit of excitement from Zimbabwe there, but it was going down leg, and certainly was jumping. And after 6 overs, it's 39 for 2 to South Africa A.
We see Ernest Masuku bowled well enough to get another over here, and that's a really good sign. We've seen the tendency through the series is that early on, bowlers get 1 over and then changed, 1 over and get changed, just because he went for 3 in his first one, we see him get an extra one. Freeman Chibuera, who's our statistician, was saying, I would have gone, he's going to go expect Masuku to bowl 3 here, and maybe 1 towards the end of the game, all of the South African innings. And that stat on the right of your screen, just 4 runs his bowling spell. It's probably why Freeman thinks what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly agree. Unless something goes horribly wrong in this over, give him extra over. And what you want to do is apply pressure by conceding as few runs as possible. And you can see the captain there, Sikandar Raza, backing up his bowler. Some good fielding, stopping that, because that would certainly have been perhaps a 4, being a bit wide. Of course, after the end of the power play, more fielders are out, but you can see that Sikandar Raza is still maintaining a very attacking field.
And that's a beautiful shot from Ryan Rickleton. Man, that is not as bad a delivery as he's made that look. But he's just, this is the man I've got to go after. And he's hit Ernest Masuku a long way over mid-wicket.
Yes, the sort of delivery that gets Sikandar Raza perhaps thinking 1 or 2, like, should I give him another over? Perhaps, but like you certainly said, it's a really good delivery that was well hit and powered by Ryan Rickleton.
I think this is good batting from Ryan Rickleton. Just not letting the youngest player on the field in terms of T20s played. Just don't let him settle. And it's actually worth taking a risk and going after what would be quite a good delivery. If you can execute the way he did that last one, it's actually a really, really good idea.
So good afternoon here at Harare Sports Club. So if you're close by, please do come to Harare Sports Club. It's a great afternoon of cricket. Still got cricket tomorrow as well. Same sides here at Harare Sports Club. Just carry your vaccination card. Entry is free. So if you're in and around the area here in Harare and close to Harare Sports Club, pay us a visit and catch some good cricket.
So the partnership just got to 20 between Rickleton and Klaasen. Rickleton. I think Klaasen's just got 6 of those 20. Masuku's bowled really well so far. That is the attempt at a slower delivery. He's just lost his shape a little bit, has Ernest Masuku. Gone down the leg side to the left-hander. But it's actually very clear what his thinking and what his planning has been happening in the rooms. It's become really, really obvious that they've said, listen, you've just got to mix up your pace. Make sure you are tight on and around off stump. He's done that today, so he's got really good bowling figures today. A good one to finish, and a really quick single from Ryan Rickleton. And at the end of the 7th, the South Africans crossed 50. Sikandar Raza has been a really good performer throughout this series, in both T20 and the 50 overs formats, and he's brought himself into the attack.
certainly taken on the mantle of captaining these two formats in this Zimbabwe 11 series against South Africa A. Taking them very well.
And you know what I liked about him? You just saw him there. He just sort of stopped mid-delivery and then bowled. And he's been willing to try stuff. He's been very enterprising. We've seen some interesting field placings as well. And he's been good. And he's also led from the front. And it helps to be as talented as Skandaraza is. And that's a beautiful shot from Heinrich Klaassen. It was a bit on the short side from Skandaraza, but he's dealt with that really, really well. So he moves to 12. 13 deliveries. And the partnership now is 29.
Yeah, just a bit short there from Skandaraza. Just there to be hit. And that's what these two batters have done. If it's there to be hit, they've given it a go.
A little bit of work for Wellington Masakadza, and he's done well to keep it down to just the one. Both Klaassen and Rickleton were looking to come back for that second. Wellington Masakadza has had to run about 30, maybe 35 meters to make sure he keeps that down to just one. That's really good work from Wesley Madewere. Made sure that Rickleton did not even consider.
So 9 off that over. South Africa A are fit on. Wellington Masakadza takes the 9th over.
That's good running from Rickleton and Klaassen. See, Wellington Masakadza is going to be looking to bowl it into the wicket, force both Rickleton and Klaassen onto the back foot, force them to play straight off the back foot. They've done that run. That could be a chance for a run out. Really good running from Klaassen to get to the striker's end.
So these two batters have been very good at trying to limit the number of dot balls. Of course, there was that shaky period when South Africa lost 2 quick wickets. So then rebuilding from that, a lot of experience between the two of these.
Something just got wrong for Masakadza there. Doesn't often bowl many extras. And I think you can see he's trying to make sure Heinrich Klaassen has only shots to sweepers on the offside, which is one at long off and then one on the cover boundary. That's a good shot from Ryan Rickleton. It's the first real bit of improvisation we've seen from him. And he's gone over the fielder at a short third man. Masakadze has been basically trying to force him to hit to the sweep. And he's said enough of that. And go on the other side.
Rickleton's a batter with a lot of talent. Still only 25, just 2 months short of his 26th birthday. He's got 6 50s in this format, a highest of 91 from 47 matches, of which he batted in 43.
So he's going to be wanting 100 in this format. He's probably going to want to get it here. We saw him get 100 in the 50 overs. And at the end of the 9th, South Africa A are 71 for 2.
Scanaraza give himself another quite costly in the first one, conceding 9 runs. Or rather 8 runs, rather. Yes, it was 9, beg your pardon.
Really good shot from Heinrich Klaassen though. Just says class when you can put away. Relatively good delivery.
Seeing just a bit of a change in the fielding. So often we talk about how the ideal pairing batters is when you got a left hand and a right hand at the crease. What's the thinking behind that? Why is that ideal?
It can be, because you've got to basically usually change, when you have 2 batters, you have to change probably your length, because if but then if you have a left hand and a right, you probably have to change your length and your line. It's 2 different batters. And then you can make a lot of errors in that. But surprisingly today, the Zimbabweans have been very, very good. The disciplines have been quite good. Not really anything spectacularly bad. They've allowed Heinrich Klaassen to play shots like that, forced him to play shots like that. He's managed to get that all the way. This is a really ominous sign for the Zimbabweans. Klaassen slowly. He was under a run of ball for the first sort of 15 deliveries that he faced. In a very short space of time, he's managed to get his strike rate above 100. It's just been 2 hits. And there's the third. really beautiful. This time a little wider. So all the way to the boundary. This has now become a really... And South Africa A moved to 86 for 2.
So at the 10th over, I'm joined by International Zimbabwe. One exciting hitting, and that's another big hit there. Ryan Rickleton picking off Welita Masakata.
It's been an exhibition, Larry, of really good batting from these two. Obviously having to deal with a couple of overs in consolidation after losing 2 quick ones. But the way they've picked up has been very well. They've rotated strike and also pushed the boundary fielders to pick up 2s here and there. Really something for whoever is watching at home to sort of learn from. And that was one not entirely middled, but Rickleton gets away with it. I'm not entirely happy with the effort and extra cover, but I think it was a difficult chance, Larry, wasn't it?
No, I wouldn't say it was a difficult chance. There was no chance there. Yeah. Unless he was the height, perhaps, of Zara batting and the speed of Weston David combined. And that's just a beautiful shot. The kind of shot past the bowler, you can just watch.
That is a seriously good shot, Larry. This is bludgeoned with so much power by Henry Klassen, who is looking very dangerous. 33 of just 20 deliveries, but he's promising to give us a whole lot more here. That's been the beauty about watching this group of South African veteran, the fact that they always understand what to do after they've done well, after they've taken a boundary. They always look for, a single, or they continue. They don't stutter and stop in the middle of an over when they've done well. And that's something that many young players out there need to learn from, especially in white ball cricket. And after 11 overs, South Africa moved on to 98 for 2. A change of ends for Enes Masuku. Starts with one full and strike right in the block hole. He's done very well today. He's gone for only 7 and over in his first 2. looking to grow from that. And if he's able to maintain that sort of economy rate throughout his 4 overs, I bet he'll be pleased, especially after going for 65 in his previous match.
Yes, certainly. He's been one of the more disciplined bowlers, along with Tendai Chatara in this particular match.
That didn't really go well, did it? Just looking to change some pace there. And it seems like Richmond Mutumbami has taken the worst of that delivery.
Looks like he might need a bit of attention there. The team doctor has gone to have a look. Looks like worse for wear. The way he's bowled, almost bowled over. So not sure what's happened there.
Yeah, he missed all of it, Richmond. And
Looks like that might have hit him in a particularly painful spot.
You live.
So, just gives me the opportunity to tell you about the Zimbabwe cricket app, where you can find all the action as far as cricket is concerned. Right now, it's fascinating stat to contain the projected scores. You can see because they're going at a run rate of 8.87 as South Africa A, projected score of 177. You can follow ball by ball coverage of this match and other matches. There was a National Premier League match that was played today between BAC and Takashinga 1. It was already done, so quick work by Takashinga in that match. There are 4 matches tomorrow, and of course this series continues. It's another match happening on Sunday, that is tomorrow, as well as Tuesday to round out the series, and this tour by South Africa A. Of course, there are tours in the next couple of weeks. Got Namibia coming, and for if you're a viewer out in Bulawayo, you'd be glad to know that that's where that series, the 5 T20 matches series, is taking place between Zimbabwe and Namibia. And of course, in June, we have the tour by Afghanistan to Zimbabwe with ODI Super League matches, 3 of them taking place, and 5 T20s. So quite a lot of cricket this winter to follow. Of course, in July, the big one, the qualifier, is taking place here in Zimbabwe. But about the Zimbabwe Cricket app, you can download it off the Google Play Store as well as iStore. As we return, looks like Richmond Mutumbami is looking quite all right. Team doctor having to jog off now.
Yeah, very experienced man. It's, Trevor Wambe. He would have probably just said, "Hey, come on, wake up, Richmond." It's his way of dealing with injuries, especially of that nature. But we continue to the cricket, and that brings up the 100 for South Africa. After 11.2 overs at a run rate of 8.82, and with 8 wickets in hand in the partnership of 72, looking very strong in this particular position, and hoping that in that changing room they will continue in the same manner. In Zimbabwe, though, we need to try and restrict them to something they feel they can chase, something in and around that 160, 170 mark. And if they can be able to restrict them to anything less than that, they will feel very comfortable and confident that they can chase that down. But these two have lots to say about that.
So if you're Zimbabwe, of course, the floor at this point is 176. Are you taking that?
Absolutely, you take that any day. If you see the, the way that this wicket has played and the strength of this squad, obviously we're talking about that kind of shots, one bounce into the rope, and that is the power and class of Henry Klaasen. Nothing much wrong with that delivery. Slowish ball by Enes Masuku, but obviously a couple of hands of apologies. He knows that he wasn't at his best there, Larry.
Not quite at the races in as far as that particular delivery. I'd only conceded 3 runs in this particular over. 2 balls to go. It's now gone up to 7 runs.
Much better length this time around. Can only succeed just punching it down the ground to long on. This partnership already looking like the sort of partnership that can take a game away from Zimbabwe. 77, now 78. And it's come in very good time as well, Larry. Chance for a catch at the boundary. Not quite there for Tendaji Vanga. We had to make some ground down to his right. Did very well, but unable to save the 2. And after 12 overs, South Africa moved to 108 for 2. Sakadza continues. Starts off with a wide. He's gone for 25 in his first 2 overs. Thick edge. Nicely done by Shatara there. Skipped across and stopped what looked like a definite single. The bowlers will appreciate a lot of that effort. Picked up, shortish, and it's been deposited down over the side screens, or the stands rather. What a shot by Henry Klaasen. Just seemed to hang back on that one, and Wellington Masakadza falling right in that trap. Has been put away in excellent fashion here, Larry.
Yeah, it's a classy shot from Henry Klaasen. It was just 4 short of his 50, which would be his 12th T20 50. It's in here. An exhibition of really great cricketing. So, if you're Zimbabwe right now, what's your strategy to get the? You're hoping to get lucky, or what do you do?
Oh, luck has nothing to do with it, really. With such kind of deliveries, you would need lots of luck, and that's been deposited right in the same spot. And that brings up Henry Klaasen's 50. It's been a muchly improved performance from the captain today. And he's done so in just 28 deliveries, 5 sixes, and just 2 boundary player. What an innings we are seeing here, Larry.
It's incredible innings. Especially if you're a South African supporter, but if you're a cricket supporter, you can only but admire that sort of batting. 121 for 2. His 2 batters have really brought this innings back on track as Klaasen once again picks up another boundary. This time getting a 4. South Africa move on to 125 for 2.
Oh, it's like a baptism of fire here for Wellington Masakadza, who's gone for 2 sixes and a 4 in this particular over. And that last shot over extra cover was just sheer class from Henry Klaasen, getting inside that line and just chipping it over the captain at extra cover. Again, chance for Ryan. Oh, it's Sean Irvine who takes a blistering catch to get rid of Henry Klaasen. What a player is Sean Irvine, running in, and that is dipping. And you cannot write this script. You cannot write this script. And Zimbabwe, after suffering one of their big overs today, have a breakthrough, 125 for 3. New better in, it won't be on strike. It's Kaya Zondo. Sikanda Raza comes back after bowling 2 overs for 24. That's a nicely played back foot drive and should push for 2. Wesley Madere is quick but not quick enough to stop that. Excellent running from Kaya Zondo. That he's coming back to the danger end. He took off like a man who wants to come back for 2. 127 for 3 here. 6.5 overs to go. And that is a beautiful shot. Lots of work for Masakadza. He won't make it. What a shot, what a boundary. That is sheer class and placement from Ryan Rickerton, who moves on to 43 of just 30 deliveries. Larry, how beautiful is that shot?
It's the kind of shot that you want to watch over and over again. Makes for a great highlights package. Just incredible timing of that shot. Gives the fielders no chance, and also placement.
One of the round arm deliveries from the captain, which didn't really find its length. Like to a boundary and a single. And halfway through that over, it's already gone for 7. Which in any case takes off the pressure from the new batter and allows him to take his time in getting his eye in. But Kaya Zondo is a very good operator, especially in the middle overs. In the one days, he seemed to take his time getting in. And speaking to some of his teammates, saying that most often than not he does that. In the days that he doesn't go on to get a big score, he sort of transfers pressure down to the other batters. But It's found the single. It's gone off the mark. Score moving on to 133 for 3.
Probably equate him to something like a diesel engine. You look at that, but old school like myself. Used to ride on trains when I was young. Doesn't quite get going as quickly, but when he gets going, moves at the rate of knots.
Larry, where were you going with the train?
So go to Vlaia. It used to be quite an experience. An overnight train.
Single to end of the over. 10 from it. 135 for 3 after 14. South Africa 8. $135 for 3 after 14. 6 more overs to go. Cut. Nicely stopped by Tendai Chatara, who's been very good in the field today. Stopped a definite boundary there.
So just looking, if you go onto the Zimbabwe cricket app, you'll be able to see the wagon wheel, and you see, and you note that the let's say 72 runs of the South Africa total have come on the onside, the offside, sorry, and have essentially mostly cover drives. Well, what does it say about the bowling by the Zimbabweans?
Oh, we've been speaking about how much discipline the South Africans have. That seems like the end of Wellington Masakaza's game. I'm not entirely sure what the problem could be, but you can see that he's a little bit jittery in his step, limping. He will be replaced by another off spinner, Wesley Madere. Only the one over.
So back to the question I was asking about why a lot of the runs have come in that sort of space.
Well, we're talking about very high class batters here, and I was listening to you guys talking with Darlington. Zimbabwe's bowling performance has been much better today, and South Africa have had to manufacture some shots, and if you look at the way that they've manufactured some shots, it has been down the ground and opening up that offside by going over extra cover. And LBW shouts, it's given. Full strike, bang on. And umpire, I know Chabi agrees. And Kaya Zondo will have to walk off 3 off just 5 deliveries. South Africa moves to 137 for 4. demise for Wellington Masakadza and lots of jubilation for Wesley Madevere, who has come back and picked up his second wicket. New better in for South Africa is Jason Smith, who gets a chance in the for the first time on this tour. Very good follow-up over from Wesley Madevere. Just goes for 4 in that particular one. South Africa moves to 139 for 4 after 15. Change of bowling from the golf course end. Tanaka Chivanga comes back into the attack, replacing Sikandar Razabat. And a change in commentary. Larry Kwiri takes a break and is replaced by Darlington Matambana. So Darlington, 139 for 4 here, 30 deliveries to go. Where do you see this innings ending?
That's a chance immediately. Tanaka Chivanga's gotten the breakthrough. South Africa are now 139 for 5. Sinking to getting it close to 200. In answer to your question, that breakthrough is so important for the Zimbabwean 11, and 39 for 5. Great start for Tanaka Chivanga, and brings in Bjorn Fortuin. South Africa, right? Tinashe just asked me before that wicket was taken what I thought was my personal projection. It's probably around about 205. That wicket has brought it right down to around about 180, maybe 185, on the high end. Something around 170 from here would be quite good. I think it's largely because, as a unit, I think the Zimbabwean bowlers have been much better today. were talking to Larry about how South African batters have had to manufacture a lot of the boundaries that they hit today, whereas in 3 days ago, I think a lot of those boundaries were actually given to them, largely because, in particular, Ernest Masuku didn't quite get his lines right. But today he's been exceptional. He's been unlucky to still be wicketless, and so is. And Tanaka Chiwanga's looked really, really good.
And that catch from Richmond Mtumbame really turning this game. We always speak about a run out or a brilliant catch or something special in the field to sort of turn the game. And if you were saying that before that wicket of Rickerton you were looking north of 200 and suddenly you're looking there about 180, 185. And I still think that this Zimbabwe bowling side is not finished yet. They can still pick up one more wicket here and open in the end. It makes it very difficult to push in that last 3 overs and last 2 overs, try and get to that 180 still, which at this stage would need to be 18 over going forward.
And it's also very important. We've seen Jason Smith. He's played a couple of times through in the one day into 50 overs and didn't really find a rhythm. And you don't really want to let him settle down. There's still 2 games to play after this one. You just want to make sure you don't give him a chance to play himself back into form and remove some of the doubts that are obviously in his mind. There's any batter who's gone a while without making runs. And then at the end of the 16th over, there's one more ball left in the 16th over. I think that's very, very important that you don't let any of these South African batters who've just had a little bit of a struggle to find some form here. Oh, that's a nasty delivery from Chiwanga. Really hit the deck quite hard and got it up around Jason Smith's shoulders. And at the end of the 16th now, 143 for 5. Do we must 7-8?
Just the one for Wesley Madevere from the city end, and Tendai Chata, after bowling 2 brilliant overs, comes back into the attack. Just the 10 runs from 2.1 overs from Tendai Chatara here, who's been exceptional throughout the tour of South Africa, Darlington.
He's been, for me, the pick of the Zimbabwean bowling. And he's just been exceptionally disciplined, has had very, very well thought out and very clear plans, and he's been able to stick to them. So he's been very inexpensive. He's also taken key and important wickets every now and again.
We see Tafadzwa Tsiga, deep point there. Usually does his straight behind the stumps. You could tell that's an arm from a wicket keeper, didn't you? I think there was like 15 bounces before it got to the other keeper.
I'll just tell you about another wicket keeper. Saw him playing for Zimbabwe A in Nepal. It's Tadiwa Marumani, and it's very important to learn how to field, because often you find a role in a team as a batter, and when there's somebody else who will be ahead of you in wicket keeping, it's very important that he actually, just for his own career, learn to become very, very competent at this. As we've seen, Tadiwa Marumani is one of the most agile and athletic fielders now, but when he first started, had difficulties in the field.
Absolutely, and it's something. Obviously, the fielding coaches, around the sides will constantly try and work on. Chatara here is bowled brilliantly, just the 3. It's over so far. Nicely disguised, but put away nonetheless. But beyond for 10, one bounce into the ropes. Muchly needed boundary for South Africa here, with their innings sort of starting here, Darlington.
And it's the fact that the Zimbabwean bowlers have continued to take wickets throughout. Just 5 already that they've taken. It's just been a combined, like a team, very good combined team bowling effort. The bowlers have really bowled as a unit much better than they did in the previous 2 T20s. And that is not a good delivery. Craig Irvin fails to stop that one. That decent over's gone for 11. And South Africa are 154 for 5. Ernest Masuku's just got his first T20 international wicket, and he's deserved it. He's bowled really well today. And Tendai Chatara completes the dismissal, and Justin Smith goes for just 5. And Zimbabwe 11 continue to take wickets. South Africa are 154 for 6.
Clinton Sterman, the new better in, gets off the mark. He's pushing for 2. Could be a chance there. Nicely fielded by Matevere. He is quick. Today he's brought his A game, hasn't he, Wesley Madevere? The ball and in and around the field.
Now he's just going to finish the trifecta, get the third part of his game right. Very important that he bats well at the top of the order for the Zimbabweans today.
Four more deliveries here, four more decent deliveries here for Enes Masuku to finish what will be a brilliant spell.
Been really impressed by Masuku today. He's gotten it right. He's gotten it a lot better than he'd. It's just almost a different bowler to the one who went for 65 in the last and second T20. This is a new man, definitely a new man, and he's just really bowled a very good length and bowled straight, mostly full. And if there's anything to criticize at all, it's been that one occasionally down the leg side. He did take a wicket with one, which makes it very difficult to be overly critical. Yeah.
That's nicely bowled, Clinton Sturman. And that's been sort of very consistent with the South African batters. The understanding that when they are looking for a boundary, they understand what sort of boundary they're looking for. They're looking for 6, they're looking for 4. And you could see there Clinton Sturman, though he's batting number 8 in this particular team, he actually tried to make room to the leg side to try and access that mid-off extra cover region where he would only need to chip fielders and get a boundary.
Another really good delivery. Nice change of pace. Again for Masuku. Just the 3 so far in this over. And he's really done well for himself and for his team. Probably should be just the one. And that's the end of Enes Masuku's 4th over. And he finishes with figures of 1 for 28 of 4. In the context of this game, pretty good. And then South Africa are 158 for 6.
Nicely bowled from Chatara. Starts off with a Yorker right in the blow. Just a single. Zimbabwe can continue with this sort of bowling of the Chatara in his last over. I'm sure Tanaka Chivanga will come off and try and finish this innings. But if they can continue in this discipline, in this fashion, 180, they will feel like they would have done the job. wide called. Chatara is not happy. I've been really bemused by, especially Chatara's two balls in the last over, which went both for four. And obviously, he's bowling to the lower middle order of this betting lineup. I think he's done very well with just bowling length and he's changing his pace. This time around, he's been clubbed over and it's gone into the ropes. What a shot by Stearman. We saw earlier on Darlington was trying to do the very same against Masuku, but Masuku just managed to find that indaka.
There's a little bit of width on that one from Tendai Chatara. Allows Stearman to go over mid-off. Finds the boundary that he's been so desperately looking for. These last two overs from Tendai Chatara have been a little more expensive than I think they should have. He's just not really got his, I think, his thinking correct. And that's got for 6. He misses his length again as Tendai Chatara. Clinton Stearman is a big man, really big lad. And he picks up that low full toss and hits it long on.
Overcompensation from Tendai Chatara, and at this level, you'll be made to pay, and he's been made to pay here 10 runs of the 2 deliveries. And Clinton will be looking to end this over on a high. Moves on to 22 of just 10 deliveries. Wide. Chatara in this last over, Darlington has gone on to undo much of the hard work he had put in these bowling spells, literally in the last 8 balls.
It's almost as if he's woken up a different. First 2 overs were brilliant, and then the last 2. It's the second wide that Tendai Chatara has been, or third in this over. And then he's really undone some really good work.
Oh, the crowd is not happy, and Chatara wasn't entirely happy with that particular decision by Chabi to wide, but nonetheless it is a wide and he has to bowl that again.
That's the end of his 4th over. And it's been a rather expensive one. Tendai Chatara is 1 wicket for 37, and South Africa 175 for 6.
taken. Glenton Stearman's little cameo comes to an end. A very good catch from Wesley Madevere in the depth, and a very good bowling from Tendai Chivanga, who has had a much improved game today. South Africa A move on to 156 for 7.
That's a good delivery again from Tanaka Chivanga. Making with the first ball, and then that's a good follow-up. Just the one from it. And again, he's another one. I was talking about how Ernest Masuku looked like a very different bowler today. Tanaka Chivanga has looked vastly improved. 2 for 21. He's really deserved that. He's bowled really well today.
Junior Dala, the new man at the crease, gets off the mark. Mostly in the team for his bowling exploits, which we will be able to see in roughly 30 minutes from now. The excitement of a genuine pace bowler, Darlington at Harare Sports Club.
He's had a lot of success in the Super League as Junior Dala. Very adept at bowling in this type of cricket. There's quite a lot of speed through there. Shapes the ball mostly into right-handers. And that generally bowls quite full. Has a deceptively quick bouncer. So it sort of skids onto you. It'll be very interesting to watch. So that's just the 3 so far from this Tanaka Chivanga over. We're saying 185. It was up 4 actually from this over. That's good length. That's a good plan. Good area to bowl. Very difficult to find the boundary when a ball is pitched right in. So we were saying 185 would be a good score, and would be a score that Zimbabwe 11 should back themselves to chase. We saw them when chasing 225. They ended up losing by 22 runs, but 202 on a wicket that's pretty much the same as this one. And that's found the outside edge and gone over a backward point. Bjorn Fort played a little gem here.
A very important round and brings up the 180. Actually 184 now for 7 wickets. South Africa with 1 ball to go. Darlington. And he was spot on, and when South Africa lost that Rikuton wicket, that would lose almost 20-25 runs from your projection. And it's come to that. 1 more delivery to go. High into the air, chance for Tino Mtombodzi, takes it, very good hands, very good technique, finishes off the innings with a wicket, and South Africa 184 for 8 in the allocation of 12 was Darlington.
Really good performance from the Zimbabwean bowlers today. And Tanaka Chivanga with 3 for 29. It's probably the pick of the bowling. He's done exceptionally well. And then another breakthrough performance for me today for Ernest Masuku, who took his first wicket in T20s at this level. Henrik Claassen was the leading run scorer with 56 of 31, dismissed by Sakadza, and then next highest contribution was from Ryan Rickleton. Tanaka Chiwanga's first wicket today with 47 of 35. Important contributions from Lesiba Ngwepe at the top and Bjorn Fortuin and Glenton Stuurman at the end. Key bowlers for the Zimbabweans, already mentioned Tanaka Chivanga. Wesley Madewere bowled really well, just 1.5 overs, had to finish a Wellington Masakadza over, and he went for 9 runs. And Skandar Raza was quite good, but for me the other breakthrough performance was Ernest Masuku, new to the game, and he did very, very well today.
Much improvement from the Zimbabwean side today. I think most of their fielding exploits were on point, and South Africa we have to come back in a moment or two and just try and defend 185 here. Stay with us, we shall be here to bring you the second innings of this match. Will be Zimbabwe trying to get 185 in the allocation of 20 overs.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Zimbabwe's run chase. 185 is their target as they chase a score set. South Africa made 184. Much improved fielding performance from the Zimbabweans today. And joining me for the first little bit of this game is Tino Maoyo. Tino, very fantastic setup for a game for this series, actually, a 5.
Afternoon, Darlington, and afternoon to all the viewers. Absolutely. Zimbabwe, of course, 2-0 down, game number 3, and they'll be looking to make sure that they can get one back here at South Africa 8. Good run chase in that last game, falling 20-odd runs short. But if they go about their business the way they did in that last game, they'll be very confident of chasing down this 185 to win.
Two batters in. Takuzwanashe Kaitano and Wesley Madewere. Takuzwanashe Kaitano made a lot of runs in domestic cricket this season, and he's earned his right to wear that red shirt. Started out against Bangladesh, got his test debut, batted for a long time to get 50 on debut, and then he's managed to adapt that game to score runs quickly enough to be selected to play for the white ball cricket. And then at the non-strikers end is Wesley Madewere.
Darlington, I've seen this happen to him a lot of times. Full deliveries from spinners, balls going down the leg side, and he doesn't get bat on it. It's an opportunity to hit that ball away straight away, get off strike.
Something like that. And I think also Wesley, through the series, has not produced the sort of results that I think Zimbabweans have come to expect of him at the top of the order. Form has been a bit patchy. He's bowled and batted while in patches. Today he was really brilliant in the field. It was an absolute live wire. Didn't take any catches, but just the amount of ground he covered, which might suggest that his mindset is much improved.
Off the mark straight away. Just talking about Wesley Madewere, his performances for me, Darlington, have been disappointing. Elevated to open the batting for the national team last year in T20 internationals. Got a couple of decent scores. This series hasn't shown the quality that he possesses.
Just hasn't looked as if he's committed to batting long. And I think while it is important to score quickly, you've got to try and do it for the length of the game. One of the openers in a run chase, very important that one of these two guys bats deep, bats at least until the 15th or maybe even the 17th over for Zimbabwe to have a chance, Zimbabwe 11 to have a chance winning this one.
Gone! Wesley Madewere looking to play the sweep shot up and over the man at 45. And the umpire believes that's hitting the stumps. First wicket falls for Zimbabwe 11. End of the first over as well. 3-1.
new batter in is Craig Irvin. He's going to be at the non-strikers end. And for South Africa golf course end is Darren Dupavilon. And that's another, looks like a caught behind. First ball, Darren Dupavilon has bowled at Yakuzwana Shikaitano. He's dismissed for 2. And Zimbabwe 11 are now in real trouble at 3 for 2. Captain Sikandar Raza is at the crease. He's got a repair job to do. Played beautifully in the second T20. He's going to need something similar. Except today, he's going to need to take it to get Zimbabwe across the line. And get them across the line, having played absolutely splendidly. Slight delay as there's a slight fielding change. It looks like Reza Hendricks has moved into first slip.
I like this. Positivity, good move. The Pavilion, of course, we know, does get a bit of shape away from the right-hander. Good pace. So that man had slipped crucial to the right-hander.
Like that already. We see Sikandar Raza getting busy. Run the first one quickly and call back Craig Irvin for the second. Well, that's a beauty from Dupavilon. Can't say that Raza did not play that one. I think that's gone past the outside edge. It's that outswing that Tino Maoe was talking about.
And that's why that man's in that slip area. Not often you see the slips staying in for a long period in T20 cricket. But early on, shape away from the right-hander. Want to make sure if he does get that outside edge, there's a man to take it. Been a constant struggle. Darlington, the opening partnership, the top order for Zimbabwe throughout the series. Talk about this series, it's actually just been a perennial in cricket across all formats for an extended period of time now.
Oh, and that is not probably the right shot under the circumstances. See, that one looked like it stayed low a little bit. And I think Skandaraza thinks exactly the same thing. See him doing a little gardening, a little farming, just patting on that area where that delivery pitched. Now at the end of the second over, Zimbabwe 11 are 5 for 2. That's Lazard Williams coming in from the city end. It's been an impressive time in Zimbabwe. Something we've seen when he bowls at Craig Irvin. Invariably, he bowls at him from around the wicket. Well-known fact that Craig Irvin is very strong through the cover and extra cover region, and that just cramps him up for a little room, makes it very difficult to get that ball into that area. Have to look for his scoring shots in other areas of the ground.
And he had success against Craig Irvin in the last game, coming around the wicket. Struck him in front of the stumps. We all thought was pretty adjacent. LBW shout, not given, and then bowled him through the gate, next delivery. That being, he also is very susceptible, like most left-hand batters, to the ball going across him. Good length, fourth or fifth stump. Sometimes just spars at the ball and exposes that outside edge. And you'll find most bowlers at international cricket like to come over the wicket, the right armers, and just take that angle away from him early on in his innings.
That's the really bad shot, I think, from Skandaraza, and he perishes for just a 2. Zimbabwe 11 now in real trouble at 6 for 3. New batter in is Tino Mtombodzi. He's going to be at the non-strikers end. It's 3 balls left in this over, and Craig Irvin's on strike.
Not the start Zimbabwe would have wanted. Darlington, we're talking about the struggles of in top order in this series. Opening partnership being a problem. What does Zimbabwe need to do to address the issue of openers in this country?
For me, I think they just go too hard too early. That's been the problem I've seen throughout this series. I know that it is T20 and I know that it is a shortened format of cricket, but there's still enough time in the game, especially with the score, target score of 185, not the largest score I have to chase. There's still time enough to just have a look and play yourself in. Get an idea how the wicket is playing. We saw Wesley Maduere playing an attacking shot. His third or so, fourth ball he's faced. And, I think it's just about sometimes just giving yourself a chance.
Off the hips. Inside Williams completes a neat first over. Zimbabwe 7 for 3.
And Clinton Stuurman from the golf course end played a wonderful little cameo earlier in the day.
Handy cricketer. Can strike the ball really well, that we saw earlier today. But a thinking bowler, ideal for this format of cricket. He's got the bounces, he's got the slow ball bouncer, he's got the variations, a good Yorker. And he thinks about his bowling. Umpire Percival Zizara, I'm sure, suggesting that was going down the leg side. He's one who walks across the stumps, Mtombodzi, doesn't he? And quite often can get in trouble if he doesn't get bat and ball.
See already those changes in pace. A little slower from Clinton Stuurman. What that does is it really sets you up, especially if you get a little bit of movement into the left-hander, really sets you up for those wicket-taking deliveries when you get this quicker seam-up delivery.
Zimbabwe finding it difficult to pierce the gaps in the field. Finding it difficult to get the fluency going. And when you're 3 down within the first 3 overs, Darlington, no matter how good a player you are and how well you play your strokes, you'll just have to rein yourself in a little bit, don't you?
very similar during the South African innings. Not as bad, but when the partnership between Heinrich Klaassen and Ryan Rickleton came together, they were really circumspect in the beginning, and then expanded beautifully, played some really wonderful shots towards the end of that partnership. I think often it's one of the most wonderful things batting second is your opposition generally teach you probably the best way to play on the wicket that the game's being played on. And I think that is quite adjacent. And Tino Mtombodzi's gone again for a low score. And Zimbabwe 11 now, 12 for 4. And that's a beautiful shot from Craig Irvin. Wonderfully timed square drive.
I'll tell you why this is such a good shot. Because hit it right at the top of the bounce. He got up onto his tiptoes. He's waited for the ball to come as close as it could to him. And that allowed him just to open the face and maneuver it into that gap in front of square on the offside. Going to have to be a big partnership between these two. Zimbabwe are going to entertain thoughts of getting anywhere near the 185 runs they're required to win this game and keep the series alive. Extra man at cover area since that last boundary off the back foot from Craig Irvin, and that's why that hasn't gone through the gap. Extra cover, man at backward point, mid off, man at a very fine point, make up the covering.
And that looks like it's off the gloves. Lazard Williams gets Craig Irvin. And Zimbabwe now are 16 for 5. New batter in is Richmond Mutumbami. Lots of work to do with Ryan Burl, who's yet to face a delivery. Sard Williams has his second wicket.
Zimbabwe in top order, blown away in these first 5 overs. And really, what will be disappointing is there really haven't been any magical deliveries to get these wickets. In the air, short of the man at cover. Man in at slip. Attacking again the South Africans.
And at the end of the 5th, Zimbabwe 11 are 17 for 5. As there's a new partnership for Zimbabwe 11 on the ground, there's a new partnership in the combox. Kurirai joined by Tinashe Chimbambo.
That's allowed Darlington, just taking off a short stint. Worst start possible, perhaps, for Zimbabwe?
It's bordering between a very disastrous start and what you can call a bad start, and this is way beyond any of those two explanations. Zimbabwe in top order. I was listening to Tino Mawoyo and Darlington speaking about how the wickets that South Africa have at the moment haven't been earned by a series of good bowling, and they've been gifted. And at this level, you're going to struggle to win or to even challenge cricket matches if your top order is in the business of giving wickets away. And the wicket is starting to have indifferent bounds. That one just skidding through from Clinton Sturman. Larry, how are you feeling after that 184 total and the hopes that Zimbabwe had going into the heart at halftime?
Hello. I know at the break I had a chat with Darlington. He said that this was a match for Zimbabwe to lose, but I always say you only know how bad or good a wicket is after both sides have batted on it. And you quite rightly say that a lot of the wickets that fell today were down to bad shots, really, more than great bowling. And I guess you could say that a lot about some of the wickets that South Africa lost. It's just a question of, if you looked at it, when South Africa lost 2 early wickets, they took an over or 2 to rebuild, and after which they started having a go. And I think there was just a lack of cleverness, really, and being streetwise. Looking at, of course, you had number 3, the national captain for T20s and ODIs, that is Craig Irvin. Still looking a bit short in terms of match fitness, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually the worst part about what you just said, Larry, is the fact that amongst the batters that have been dismissed today, he actually looked like the one that was able to sort of handle the South African bowling attack. That's a beautiful shot from Ryan Bell. Slaps it in between cover point and backward point. Runs away for 4, much to the happiness of Zimbabwean fans who have tried to fill up the stadium today.
Yeah, certainly got them excited, especially out in the corner over there. But as I said, one of the things that is, and if you look at also as the other parts of the ground, you got a nice mixed crowd that came out today, and hopefully they get a lot more cricket than they've been shown right now. They won't be too inspired by the start, but like in previous matches, even the match has been going away from the Zimbabwean side. They've stuck around, and after 6 overs at the end of the power play, it's 21 for 5.
Change of ends for the Pavilion. They started the route, didn't they? On the wicket of Tadiwana Ashe Kaitano. It seems like in attacking mode, was he asking for a slip? Nah.
Zimbabwe crowd just trying to get some voice out there, just trying to get a little bit excited. So early on we saw Wellington Masakadza having to come off. Don't have any news yet as to whether they'll be able to bat, but certainly Zimbabwe finds a situation where these batters, as much as they've got to have to bat to face as much of the overs that are left as possible, but they've got no time to keep having a look because the run rate is close to 12 already. Run rate 11.86, and that's the required run rate at the moment, and don't want to leave too much to do at the end, but again to also give themselves just a bit of time to build.
No, really, at this stage I don't think there will be anything to do at the end really, because for us to get to the end where we actually need runs to try and chase down this total, we have to be in the game from here on until the end. It doesn't quite look like it. And again, Richmond Mutumbami just reaching out for that one, not connecting, not entirely happy by the decision by Mr. Aino Chabi at the city end. As someone between these two, we need to play an innings of their life to rejuvenate this innings. 21 for 5 after 6.3 overs. It won't matter how well these two bat. This match is way beyond Zimbabwe's reach at this stage. As we were speaking about how you can go about chasing down a total of 160 and above. More often than not, you're looking to take away 50, maybe 45 to 60 runs in that first power play. Maybe for the loss of 1, maximum 2 wickets, and if it's a disaster, 3 wickets. And Zimbabwe at the moment at 21 for 5, which is a little more than just a disaster really. Slower ball, nicely discussed. Richmond Mutumbami just happy to keep it out. At this stage, both these batters would be just happy to be out there.
Quite certainly, but you have to hit the ball. It's a game of cricket, and you're not gonna go anywhere. You're just gonna meander around at this point. And at this moment, what I'm looking is sitting here, a test match performance, because one more ball and it's a maiden over, and the maiden overs are supposed to be like hen's teeth in this format.
Luckily for Richmond Ntombami, instead of maiden over, gets a single off the last ball. It's the one from it. After 2 brilliant overs from Dupavlion, he's only gone for 3 runs and a wicket. South Africa right in control of this match. Zimbabwe 22 for 5 after 7. First look of Junior Dala. This tour, obviously having to fly in for the T20s. Starts off with a wide down leg side. That one just touching something on its way down leg side. Rikuton, very good pair of hands. And Junior Dala will not be happy with the way that he started here. A couple of deliveries down leg side. And lucky that the second one took something on its way.
Very well built man is Junior Dala. Extracts a lot of pace. Keeps
Yeah,
the
very
ball.
well built. Mr. Mawoyo earlier on was saying seems like he's built from cement. That's how strong the man is, and surely we are going to see much more speed from a guy who can really crank it up.
First runs off the bat conceded by Junior Dala. Certainly a player who, when he was included in the South Africa A side for the T20s, excited quite a few of the locals, 'cause seeing his pace at international level. Certainly a player of some pedigree, a lot of pedigree. And Ryan Bell gets to face him for the first time. It just gives me the opportunity to tell you about the Zimbabwe cricket app. I know you've got a copy of it. You've got some analysis of some of the matches you've played out with the Royal Cricket Club. That's your club, isn't it?
Yes. The former champions, obviously.
So you can follow all the action and as far as cricket happening in Zimbabwe in the palm of your hands. Just download the Zimbabwe cricket app. It's available for free from the Google Play Store as well as the iStore, of course, for iOS users.
Zimbabwe, steam and everything that's been building up in the stands has been sort of extinguished, Larry, by that period of play in the first 5 overs, where we literally lost, Zimbabwe literally lost a wicket in each and every over.
(161 needed off 70, 160 needed off 70, 161 off 72 balls. Getting myself caught up there. After 8 overs, it's 24 for 5. Pushing it down to third man is Richmond Mbami facing Darren. Zimbabwe ought to have a go. I think I would say they start going the last over, but they certainly have to have a go from now. 13.52 is a big ask already. So unless they're looking to just bat out the overs and get to 20 overs, almost for the sake of it, and certainly are going to have to start team with aggression. These two guys, the Zimbabwe 11 guys.
Well, aggression isn't the problem really from this innings. Supposedly, the control in the aggression is what has led to Zimbabwe being in this position. You think about Sikandar Rasa's pull shot. You think about Wesley Madevere's and Kaitana, very unlucky. Seemed like it got struck somewhere outside the line. But you think about Craig Evans' pull shot. So we are in this position, and that is a beautiful shot, nicely timed. Should be just 2. Lesiba Ngohepe has just made some ground to cut it out. But aggression hasn't been the problem. The control of it and the selection of it. And we spoke about how the South Africans earlier in the day had to be a little bit circumspect, had a look first, especially for a guy who's coming off 100. Lesiba took quite some time to find some boundaries.
It's one thing to be circumspect. The South Africans did it for 2 overs. Zimbabwe should have been circumspect for 4 overs now. And on a big chase like this, the partnership is on 13, and their average Ryan Bell is going at 50% strike rate. And if you look at Richmond Tumami, is the lower 40s strike rate. So it's just not great cricket. I mean, I know consolidation and so forth, but what's the point of it?
Well, and I'm happy that you are looking at those 2 worms. Obviously, the blue one, and it's unfortunate that we don't have the graphics to show our viewers. But if you can see, the red worm is full of wickets. Like in the same period at the moment, at 8.5 overs, South Africa had only lost 2 in the middle of what was the partnership that changed this game. 77 of just 42 deliveries between Klassen and Rickerton, and they were able to, build up from there. But at the moment, if you look at the amount of red dots on that Zimbabwean worm, they've lost 5 wickets in each over of the first 5 overs, and that really makes the situation very difficult for the 2 batters who are out there today, who are Richmond Mutumami and Ryan Bell. And after 9 overs, Zimbabwe reeling under pressure at 31 for 5. What a shot. Breaking the shackles is Richmond Mutumbami. Full straight. Brings it down the ground for 4. Larry, they are listening to you here.
I don't know. It was there to be hit. I'll tell you who is not going to like the way that's been hit is Junior Dala. Prides himself with his pace. Just comes Richmond to Mbami quite quickly. Cramps him almost. Forced to just punch it down.
Yeah, he hasn't really gotten his rhythm and his lines right. Today is Junior Dela. Very fortunate to have only gone for just a few. Obviously, the situation makes it very easy and very comfortable for bowlers to run in and get away with some deliveries. They will not get away with such a delivery because it's been timed to perfection by Richmond Mutumbami, who's starting to get his game going. Larry, that is a beautiful shot.
That's what they say, what the doctor ordered. An incredible shot. Just punching it down between the fielder at fine leg. Could just not get back in time. Could not get to that delivery. An expensive over for South Africa at the minute. Shy at the stumps.
Yeah, beautiful cricket. We spoke about this when South Africa was batting, and they were able to do that. Once they get boundaries early in the over, they were able to rotate strike and make that 2 boundaries get to 10, 12, and in some instances 15, which really changes the look of that space, that moment that you'll be betting in. After 9-point over, Zimbabwe 40 for 5, needing a miracle here. 14.3 runs and over. Out! Ryan Bell cannot believe his eyes. A little tickle down leg side, and the ball is carried all the way to Pavilion, who takes a very good catch to dismiss who could have been the only hope for Zimbabwe on a day like this. And the umpires will make an inquiry. Ryan Bell was holding his ground. The soft signal from Mr. Cesaro is that that catch was completed and we have to make the long to the Pavilion. Zimbabwe 40 for 6 after 9.4 overs. Enes Masuku walks in, and he will be at the non-strikers end. The dot ball to finish the over after 10 overs. Zimbabwe 11, 46, and there will be a new partnership in the commentary box. Darlington Matamba will continue with Larry Quira.
and afternoon, Darlington.
Good afternoon again, Larry. Wonderful opportunity here for Ernest Masuku. I've been full of praise for him today. And a wonderful opportunity for him to really stake a claim for himself for higher honours. If he could get himself, let's say, about 30 balls to face, if he can get 30 or 40 from here, and support Richmond Mtumbami as long as possible, get this all the way into the end of the game, could be really good for his personal career. Because I think in a situation like this, if you're not really a batsman, 14.5 is a really, really tough ask.
Definitely. South Africans a bit excited there. British Ryan Ricketson was pretty confident. Ernest Masuku was out. Ernest Masuku standing his grounded. Umpire, I know Chabi, saying there's nothing on that. So lives to face a couple more balls. I mean, look, there's no word for it really. The disastrous batting by Zimbabwe's side, what you got to say is that there's some very good cricket being played by South Africa without trying to be exceptional.
But
they just stick to the job.
I think most good cricket is actually not about looking to be exceptional. It's just being disciplined, having good, clear plans, but practical plans, and then just applying them. And that's all that the South Africans did in the morning when they were, I wouldn't say in the morning, earlier on this afternoon batted. That's what they're doing now with the ball in hand. So for me, the Zimbabweans did get it right when they fielded. They had similar success. But the only difference was that when a couple of early wickets up front, what the South Africans had is they had Captain and Rickleton to put together a big partnership. And Ernest Masuku, that's Richmond Mtumbami, forgive me, is out for 14 off 21, and the Zimbabwe 11 are 41 for 7. New batter in is Tendai Chatara, who's at the non-striker's end. And Ernest Masuku is going to face up to Junior Dala.
He's going to have to do the cricketing equivalent of turning water into wine. If Zimbabwe are going to get anywhere, Zimbabwe 11 that is, get anywhere close to winning that match. Bowled very well. A bit disappointed that the batters who came earlier did not back him. And seeing him coming in at number 8, just suppose that means Wellington Masakadze has not been able to recover his earlier injury. He would have come certainly before Ernest Masuku. Or it might just be a case of Zimbabwe medical team seeing no reason to risk him, given there's another match tomorrow and on Tuesday as well. I know it's difficult for the Zimbabwe fans to see any prize the match so far, but like you made reference to, certainly bowled and fielded very well a lot earlier. Improvement from the first match, or rather the second match a couple of days ago, Wednesday. And that's, I guess, that's the only thing they'll be able to walk away with. Otherwise, not much else happened their way. 42 for 7 after 11.3 overs, as disastrous as they can come.
Yeah, very difficult to find positives from the batting without being self-deceiving. And I think there's just not any real steel or grit or determination being shown by the Zimbabwean batters. A lot of the shots, for me, were just, and I think Tinashe's gone on about this, but I think we know that Skandaraza is not really a puller of the ball. That's not one of his strong shots. And to play that pull shot, third ball he faced, not really a good idea. And it was just, guys gave away their wickets too cheaply for me. And that's Ernest Masuku, and Junior Dala gets his second wicket. So that's Tendai Chatara, and it's now 42 for 8.
So after a game like this, in which all sorts of things have gone wrong, I'm assuming coming out now is Tanaka Chivanga, probably the last wicket, as we go into the last wicket, really. If you're Zimbabwe 11 as it is, you've been in similar circumstances where everything goes wrong, what do you do as the coaching department? What do you say after a performance like this? Do you file it under, well, that didn't work out, or especially with the turnaround time being so short, another match tomorrow?
I think you already have what is a message that you've been giving your players in the lead up to this match, and that message doesn't stop being true because you've had a disaster. So you go back to that message, whatever it is that you're saying, you're focusing on as your key sort of goals. What are we supposed to be trying to do here, and how are we trying to do it? You know what I mean? I think you've just got to go back to those basics, because I think it's always going to be the basics that are going to solve whatever problems that the Zimbabwe 11 batting lineup has. So we'll just have to wait to see if Masakadze is going out, and that's not going to be happening. So in the 12th over, Zimbabwe 11 were 42 for 9. Wellington Masakadze got injured while bowling in the South Africa A innings and is not going to be able to come out to bat.
Yeah, so a match that really, well, South Africa have very professional at. Just go through early on, they scored 184 for 8, winning this match by 142 runs. The top scorer for the innings is Heinrich Clausen with 56, Ryan Rickleton with 47 afterwards, and then Lesiba Ngwepe as well as Bjorn Fortuin with 19 each. Looking at the wickets column, Tanaka Chivanga took 3 for 29, Wesley Madevele 2 for 9, Ndai Chatham for 27, Anas Masu 1 for 28, and the injured Wellington Masakaza taking 1 for 42 from 3.1 overs.
And then in the Zimbabwean innings, nothing to say about the batting. Just largely being dominated by the South African bowling. Richmond Utumbami with 16 was the highest scorer. Everybody who bowled today was in the wickets. Bjorn Fortuin with 2 for 4. Darren de Pavillon got the rot, started the rot with the early wicket of Takuzona Shikaitaino, 1 for 10. Zard Williams 2 for 7. Clinton Sturman 1 for 8. And Junior Dalla finishes up with 3.
So catch us tomorrow here. If you're in Harare, it's Harare Sports Club. But if you, of course, can watch it on the current YouTube channel here on Zimbabwe Cricket, as well as following the game on the Zimbabwe Cricket app. Otherwise, take care of yourself.